Welcome back to Recap Express. Today we'll be diving into a thriller and science fiction film from 2015 titled Selfless. In the beginning of the movie, we see Damien, who is diagnosed with terminal cancer. His life expectancy, according to the physicians, is only 6 months. He finds out that he can prolong his life using an enigmatic card from Phoenix Biogenic. He learns about a procedure known as shedding, which will enable him to transfer his consciousness into a new body. When he gets in touch with the organization, the company's scientist, Dr. Albright, certifies that the bodies are created and cultured artificially in a lab. Damien departs after being unconvinced by the concept. Damien makes the decision to see Claire, his estranged daughter. She turns down his invitation to share a sundae. Claire says no when Damien offers to write her a check. Damien searches for shedding online and discovers a talk by Dr. Francis Jensen, who describes a future in which the ill and elderly will no longer be constrained by their physical limitations. Coughing uncontrollably, Damien falls back in his chair. He makes a call to Dr. Albright and consents to carry out the shedding. Albright informs him that once he has a new body, he cannot return to his previous existence. He has to ignore people he used to know if he comes across them. Albright goes on to emphasize that Damien's passing must be made public and recommends that he hold it at Commander's Restaurant in New Orleans. Before heading to the restaurant, Damien stops at a cemetery to bury a metal box as he gets ready for the surgery and makes his way to New Orleans. When Damien joins Martin, his business partner, for lunch at the restaurant, he orders the coffee that Albright suggests. Following his coffee, he begins to feel sleepy and falls to the floor. After being carried into an ambulance, Damien is taken to Albright's lab by the driver rather than the hospital. They make sure all of the metal filings in his teeth have been taken out when he arrives. According to Albright, the shedding machine they'll be using is a massive magnet, so any metal object might sabotage the procedure. Inside the machine, Damien and another body are loaded simultaneously. When the procedure is complete, he glances at the bed beside him and notices that a sheet is being placed over his former body. Damien needs to go through training to learn how to run, swim, and walk with his new physique. To assist him in coping with the adverse effects of shedding, Albright gives him medicine. If he doesn't take the medication, the scientist tells him that he can have nausea, headaches, and hallucinations. The group assigns him a new name, Edward Kidner, and states that he was born in Phoenix, Arizona, on September 20th, 1980. Albright shows him around a new home but only gives him 7 medications to take care of the adverse effects. He argues to Damien that he's still getting used to his new body, and that they need to meet once a week. He will be allowed to live wherever he wants in a few months. The doctor assures him his current arrangement is merely temporary. When Damien starts playing basketball with the residents on a neighboring court, he meets Anton, who welcomes him to the neighborhood by offering to take him out partying. Damien begins to enjoy his new life and routinely goes out to parties with Anton. But after forgetting to take his medicine for a day, he experiences hallucinations in which he appears to be a part of a military operation. As his vision goes on, he sees pictures of a pumpkin-shaped water tower and a Hispanic mother tending to her child. The doctor brushes off Albright's questioning about the vision, telling him that the hallucinations are just his jumbled old memories driven by unresolved emotions from his past. He speculates that the Latina woman he saw in the hallucination might have been a former one-night stander. He is informed by Damien that he did not bring up the woman's Latina heritage. In an attempt to divert his attention, Albright hands him a ticket to Hawaii. He offers him twice as many pills and tells him that if he remembers to take them, he won't have any more hallucinations. When Damien searches for the water tower online, he discovers that it is situated in St. Louis, Missouri. He visits the cemetery to get the box buried there before heading to the airport. In order to locate the water tower and the woman, he purchases a ticket at the terminal for a flight to St. Louis. When he arrives at the location, he goes to a nearby house and knocks on the door. He chooses to go inside as no one is answering the door. He finds out the woman's name is Madeline Bitwell as he reads through the mail. Taking in his surroundings, Damien is shocked to discover a photo of himself with Madeline and her child. The pictures reveal to him that the individual who once occupied his new body was a member of the armed forces. Damien is staring at the images when Madeline comes inside the house brandishing a gun. Madeline recognizes Damien as her purportedly deceased husband Mark and sobs when he slowly turns to face her. A man seeking to speak with Edward Kidner knocks on the door. Damien sees the man who drove him to the airport when he opens it. Damien lets the driver tackle and pin him to the table because he becomes sidetracked when he sees another man grabbing Madeline. Anton walks into the room as the driver subdues him, explaining to Damien how he came to be in possession of Mark's body. According to Anton, Mark had contacted Phoenix Biogenic after his daughter's medical bills were not paid for by the insurance company. A flamethrower is used by one of Albright's goons to destroy Madeline's pickup truck in the meantime. Subsequently, Damien informs Anton that he needs to use the loo to take his medication. To ensure he doesn't get away, the driver follows him to the bathroom. Damien kills the driver after attacking him after taking the drug. Anton and another worker come to the loo when they hear the noise. Anton tries to talk to the henchman after Damien shoots him in the shoulder. An explosion outside startles Damien, and Anton seizes the chance to disarm him. Until Damien attacks Anton outside the house, the two men battle to subdue each other. Anton fires at Damien, who promptly retreats inside. Anton gives the order for a goon to set the place on fire while Damien tries to rouse Madeline. Damien and Madeline leave the house through a floor hatch as the smoke inside grows. The henchman with the flamethrower is shot in the leg by Damien, setting Anton on fire as a result of his fall. Approaching a tub of water, Anton plunges inside. After killing the other operatives, Damien and Madeline escape the residence. As they head towards the van, Damien tells Anna that he struck a bargain with Phoenix Biogenic in order to save her daughter. He had to do things that he couldn't get away with if he were alive, therefore disappearing was a necessary part of the arrangement. Following their brief conversation, they head to the school to pick up Anna, who is ecstatic to see her father once more. For the night, the three book into a motel. Damien steps outdoors and glances up, shedding light on the internet in order to dodge Madeline's questioning. He finds a link that claims Jensen passed away in a public library. When Damien rewatches the footage of Jensen, he observes that the scientist touches the temples of his spectacles with the same gesture as Albright. He determines that Jensen had seized control of Albright's body after witnessing Albright in the same video. Damien begins to have hallucinations and recalls their meeting in the lab. Damien returns to New Orleans to visit Phyllis, the wife of Dr. Jensen, who is afflicted with Alzheimer's. She doesn't know where her husband's research is kept, so he poses as a Jensen student to find out how he may access it. He persuades Phyllis to phone Albright and ask him to come over after learning that he pays her a visit every week. Damien holds Albright at gunpoint and demands more pills from him when he arrives. Albright begins to explain that the drug maintains his consciousness while also putting an end to his hallucinations. Without it, Mark's consciousness will return and his mind will disappear. But with every pill intake, Mark loses some of his memories, including his instincts and his military training. After a year, if he keeps taking the medication consistently, Mark will soon be gone forever. As they leave the house, a henchman disarms Damien, who begs Albright to take him back to the lab. While they are approaching the entrance, Damien begins having hallucinations once more. Madeline comes over to them as they get closer to the car. Damien escapes to defend her when a henchman beats her with the car door. He snaps the neck of one henchman to death. He is tackled by another agent, who then tries to choke him. Grabbing a gun, Madeline fires, striking the henchman in the temple. When Damien hears the man refer to him as Eddie, he recognizes the exact chain Anton was wearing around his neck. Anton admits that he has already experienced several sheddings. He makes fun of Madeline and makes hints that her husband is hiding something from her. Then Anton instructs her to find out if Damien is aware of her birthday. After taking Anton's medications, Damien leaves with Madeline and Anna in his car. Madeline approaches Damien at a petrol station and asks him if he has any information regarding their shared lives. Declaring that he has assumed control of Mark's body, Damien informs her that her spouse has already passed away. Despite knowing that Albright and his men will kill them if they find them, Damien offers to assist Madeline and her child. The three pay Martin a visit to request assistance leaving the nation. Martin is informed by Damien that he experienced shed and came out on top. Martin is not going to believe until Damien tells him what they did to celebrate their first successful purchase and shows him the deed to the first building they bought together. Martin gets a plane ready for them after coming to the conclusion that Damien is living in a different body. Damien teaches Anna how to swim while they wait. She pursues a whirring noise she hears down the hallway after the class. Damien quickly discovers that all of the mirrors in the home are covered, so he and Madeline begin searching for Anna. They find Anna playing with a small boy in a room filled with toys. After bringing Anna, Damien informs Madeline that the boy is Tony, Martin's little son who passed away 2 years prior. Martin admits that after Tony passed away, he got in touch with Phoenix Biogenics. He informs Damien that Phoenix agents are already standing by outside his property, ready for them. Martin is informed by Damien that Phoenix uses bodies that were taken from living individuals rather than ones that were created from scratch. Martin makes the decision to assist Damien in setting up a distraction so Madeline and Anna can flee after discovering the truth about shedding. Damien is instructed to meet Martin at a truck stop, where they will wait for him until after midnight. After leaving the house, Damien turns to see whether any other automobiles are pursuing him. Soon, 2 automobiles pull up and start shooting at him. Anton and another agent wait for Damien in different cars farther down the road. When one of the goons sees that Damien is by alone in the van, Anton gives the order for a different driver to investigate Martin's residence. Damien reverses the van to crash the automobile behind him after the 2 cars manage to box him in. But as soon as he accelerates, the vehicle hooks up with his van's back bumper. Martin, meanwhile, is approaching them from the opposite direction and fires as soon as he spots Damien's van. Just before he gets to Anton's automobile, he suddenly turns, leaving the henchman's car behind. The other operative's car is struck by Anton, sending it flying across the road. After crashing into a tree, Anton loses all mobility. As Martin tries to catch up with them, Madeline and Anna are persuaded into a Phoenix agent's vehicle outside the house. At the truck stop, Damien waits for them, but only Martin shows up. Damien is informed by Martin that he attempted to stop them, but they entered the car before he could intervene. Martin acknowledges that he sent Damien the Phoenix Biogenic card because he thought Martin owed him for allowing him to work for him. They no longer need to rely on Albright after he offers Damien some tablets and discloses that he was able to reverse engineer it. In the hopes of seeing Albright's laboratory location in his visions, Damien decides not to take any medicines for the day. He quickly finds out that the facility is housed in a shuttered warehouse that used to hold Mardi Gras flotillas. When Damien accidentally breaks into the lab, he finds Anton and another man lying down on gurneys in the shedding room. When Albright shows up, he informs Damien that he has previously brought Anton back to life 3 times and that each time, Anton has grown closer to him. He discloses that Madeline's daughter's organs will be taken and that she is getting ready to shed for another client. Albright is shot through the glass by Damien, but he soon finds out that it is bulletproof. Albright informs Damien as the other guards move in to detain him that he planned to use a 40-year-old accountant's corpse for Anton's shedding. But now that he's in the lab, Damien will use Mark's body instead, as his instincts and military skills have shown to be valuable. Damien slips a bullet casing in his mouth while the guards are struggling to hold him down. Albright begins probing to see out if the shedding process was successful after it is finished. The man smirks and replies that he has no children when asked. All of the images he had downloaded from the internet were of children. He inquires of the henchmen where Madeline and her daughter are being held after exiting the shedding room. The 2 guards who were observing Madeline are killed by Damien. Albright worries that the shedding must have failed when he discovers the bullet casing in the shedding chamber. Damien, Madeline, and Anna find themselves in the viewing room adjacent to the shedding chambers with soldiers still pursuing them. Because no one would be around to give him the drugs if Damien killed him, Albright is certain that he won't. Rather than using it to break through the glass, Damien scans the room and spots the flamethrower. Damien begins to tell Albright that he is no longer needed by starting to read the medication's formula. After that, he turns on the flamethrower to destroy Albright and burn through the bulletproof glass. Madeline and Anna are sent to the Caribbean by Damien. After that, he goes to Claire's office and writes her a note expressing his regret for not doing more for her while he was still living. A later time, he awakens in a room he does not recognize. He clicks on the video file on the desktop after noticing a laptop across the room. Mark is addressed by Damien, who tells him that he purchased his body. He expresses his gratitude to him for the body's ability to extend his life by several months. He claims to have given up taking the medication and to have been waiting days for Mark to take back control of his own body. Upon his return, Damien wishes him well and begs him to look after his wife and daughter. In order to locate Madeline and Anna, Mark takes a boat to a different island. Madeline believes he's Damien when he first shows up, but she quickly learns it's actually Mark from the way he hugs her. I appreciate you watching. We hope this movie synopsis was enjoyable. Visit our channel to see more content similar to this one. See you on the next one, we hope.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.